Yeah, this is John G Sutton, and this is part 2 of P J Proby, the truth behind the making of the Thanks CD album, which is this album here. Yeah, you can see that. P J Proby, Thanks. Yeah. So where was I at? Oh yeah, he just decided that he was going to go to the recording studio, having seen that there'd been a fatal helicopter crash at Newcastle International Airport. So what happened next? Well, he picked his plastic bag up. He travelled with a plastic bag full of bottles or half-empty bottles of booze. Had tins of Carlsberg Special, was it Jack Daniels in there, and like a half-empty bottle of cheap cider. He liked that. He called it apple wine, believe it or not. Seriously. So anyway, we gets out of the room. I go towards the checkout, and as we're walking through the reception area at the Holiday Inn at just outside Newcastle on Tyne, there sitting in the in the lounge was Torval and Dean, you know, the skaters. Yeah. So anyway, Proby says, I'm going to go and introduce myself, say hello. I said, you don't know them? And of course he didn't know them. He said, no, but they'll know me. I'm P J Proby. Of course, by this time nobody'd seen him for like 20 years. He'd been in the wilderness. So I said, listen, you're not going to pester Torval and Dean. And I just got hold of the back of his jacket, yeah, and led him with me towards the reception area where I paid for the rooms, and then escorted him out to my car, where we set off for the recording studios at Chesterley Street, where we arrived at about somewhere around about 11 o'clock. We were definitely late. And of course, being P J Proby, he decides that he's not going to sing. No, he said, I don't think I'm going to do it now. I've changed my mind. I'm not singing today. I said, hang on a minute. Got the recording studio here, costing me something like, I don't know, £75 an hour. Got the sound engineer, got backing tracks, got musicians, and you've decided you're not going to sing. He says, yeah, I'm not singing today. I've changed my mind. So I thought, well, you know, this has cost me a lot of money. I might as well get my money's worth. So I says to him, well, Jim, I said, you've got a choice. You either sing or I will belt the living daylights out of you. Well, he said, the only way I'm going to sing is if you hit me. Well, he didn't need to ask me twice. I just, boom, in his chest bone here, you know. Knocked him from one side of the studio to the other, but it only just sat him on his arse. It didn't actually do him any harm, you know. Picked him up and said, right. And he says, I'm singing. Yeah, and we did the first one that we recorded was Stage of Fools. Let you listen to a little bit of Stage of Fools. Alexa, play P J Proby, Stage of Fools.
Stage of Fools by P J Proby on Amazon Music.
Keeps turning. Was I the fool? You know that life, well, it's a funny thing. Can't all be winners. Well, we just can't always win. I took risks in this world of schemes. Well, never a winner. To dream.
Alexa, stop. So that's Stage of Fools, and that's what we recorded that day in June of 1990. Yeah, that was it. And we did another song called "I Will Be Your Mountain," and following that, they said, well, we've got some time left, because he just did it, you know what I mean? But the way he did it, I wrote all the lyrics down in like 4-inch high letters, and he just sang a verse at a time. So it's all that is not one take, it's all patched together. Yeah, but it's you can hear that he has an amazing range, and he's got a real voice, but it was a voice that needed to be controlled, because he couldn't control it. Yeah, so the guy, the sound engineer said, listen, we've got about an hour and a half left. He said, is there anything else that you'd like to do? I said, I don't know. He said, well, have you got another song you'd like him to sing? So I said, well, I haven't, but I'll write one. So seriously, this is the absolute God's honest truth. I got the sheets of paper and a big marker pen, and I started writing. And I wrote a song that I called Narration, Stage of Fools, because we used the same music, you see, but it was based on Shakespeare. You know something, people, all the world's a stage, and all the men and all the women, well, they're just players. They got their exits and they got their entrances, and one man is so many parts. So that was I started to write that, and I'd got really into it, and the guy said, this is absolutely brilliant, let's try it with Proby. So Proby actually agreed to do it, so I stuck the lyrics up, and you know, as I'd written them, and off he went. Now, let's see if I can get it on Alexa. Alexa, play P J Proby Narration, Stage of Fools.
Stage of Fools, Narration, by P J Proby, starting now, on Amazon Music.
Know something, people? All the world's a stage. All the men and all the women, register players, they got their exit and they got their entrances. And one man in his time plays so many parts. Probably forgets them. but a walking shadow. Oh, a poor player that belly struts and he rests his hour upon the stage. My God, does he have to pay?
Alexa, stop. Yeah, so you can see I use Shakespeare there, that life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and is heard no more. That's the soliloquy from Macbeth, the Scottish play. So anyway, recorded that. We stuck all the tracks together, and I put them out as a 12-inch single on Jace Records. It's a record company that I set up, yeah. And off it went out. I put advertisements in, was it Record Collector? Yeah, I put that in because mainly he was collectible, you know. And it did sell, you know, and they did play it. They played it on the television, they played it on the radio. I had a good pick up from that. I mean, you can look on YouTube here and just type in P J Proby ITV, and you'll see there's a short video clip that shows me at home and P J Proby, and we were on lots of things at the time. We were on This Week with Dennis Toohey. You can see that video on here. They did a TV special about him called PJ Probably, and basically we were starting to get where I said I would do. When I said I would do it, I'd resurrect him. So I had resurrected him, and I got a letter from an agent in Blackpool asking if I would be prepared to sign him for a summer season in Blackpool. So we went over to Blackpool in my car to see these people at a hotel called the Lansdowne Hotel on the promenade, just past the tower. You go the tower as if you're heading towards Fleetwood, and the Lansdowne Hotel was on the right. It's gone now, but anyway, and the guy who was running it was Bobby Hope. So we get to Blackpool and do all the chatting about what we're going to do and see if we can agree terms, and I said, well, let's go away and we'll talk about it. So on the way back, Proby insisted, which he very rarely took food, you know, he very rarely took food, but he wanted some oysters, and so he went into Robert's Oyster Bar, which is a white fronted building on the front just past the tower as you go in, heading towards Lytham the other way, yeah, and it's on the left there. You'll see it still there, I believe. Anyway, so we went into Robert's Oyster Bar, me, my wife Mary, because she'd come along, and PJ Proby. And Proby went up to the counter. He said, I'll have 2 dozen oysters, I want this, and I want crab sticks, and I want Tabasco sauce, and I want cayenne pepper. And I said, this is quite a lot of food, you know. And no, he said, I can eat this. So we went and sat down at the table, and they brought all these oysters, 2 dozen oysters, yeah. You got Tabasco sauce, seriously, Tabasco sauce, splashed it all over the place, all over the table, all over the bloody oysters, all over the sticks, everything. There was Tabasco sauce flying everywhere. He got a handful of cayenne pepper and threw it, and it went, oh, there were people in the restaurant as well. They took one look at this, got up and went, until there was only us there, and Proby started eating it then. And don't forget, he'd hardly taken any food. He'd taken a load of Jack Daniels and booze, but he hadn't taken much food. And so he's shoving this food into his mouth. And it got to the point, you know, where he couldn't really get it in. So, believe it or not, big finger, in with the oyster, boom. That's what he did. Shoved it down his throat. All the way back in my brand new Volkswagen Golf, he was... Out come a bloody oyster, a prawn. I dined with PJ Proby. Anyway, in part 3, more excitement as somebody decides that they need to meet some little girls. And what happened next?